commoning is this very beautiful work of figuring out together how to share a well-defined resource. And what are the day in, day out things we have to do to share that wisely, beneficially, to strengthen the commons that nourishes all of the participants in the commons. So commons can't be owned, it can only be stewarded. I'm Stuart Cowan. I'm the Executive Director of the Buckminster Fuller Institute. I'm based here in the Bay Area. We work on planetary innovation in the spirit of Buckminster Fuller, who spent decades and decades inspiring people all over the world to work on behalf of the planet. So what's it been like to be at Earth Commons? I've loved it. It's been this wonderful gathering place for technologists. So half the time someone's like, I'm building this new company, this new app, this new blockchain. And then half the time it's like an organic farmer, it's a permaculturist, or someone imagining a whole new policy approach or, around the commons, or a whole new way to think about land ownership. This kind of creative collision I've always loved personally. And it's what we're going to need to get through the multiple crises that we're facing. And it will take creativity from many different disciplines. Yeah, how do we define commons? How do we even think about commons? It's a really interesting word. The best way to think of it is a commoner. Well, nowadays you hear commoner and it sounds like, oh, it's sort of this negative thing, like, oh, they're just a commoner versus being like nobility or something. There was a very strong commons. So a commons is just something that's shared amongst individuals, organizations, a natural commons pool that's shared by many different species or water sources. A commons could be a lake, it could be a mountain range, it could be the entire atmosphere. It's something that is shared, not just by people, but it could be shared by other beings. It could be a knowledge commons. And the stewards of the commons may have certain rights to receive benefits from the commons. If someone is abusing the commons, taking too much, harming it, there are ways that they maybe get excluded from some of the benefits for a while. So what does it mean to have a thriving planet? It means we have life flourishing, we have healthy soil, we are eliminating toxicity, we're not spewing out all kinds of waste. We have a completely circular economy. Biodiversity has been recovered. We have a full suite of species all over the planet. We're rewilding everything. So a thriving planet is a rewilded planet. So all these other amazing 10 to 50 million species are thriving alongside our species, and we've also rewilded ourselves. We've rewilded our own spirit, our own sense of connection to nature, to each other, to the world. So Buckminster Fuller Institute is all about reconnecting us to the world, to life, to nature. And that can be anything from a whole new way to perceive the health of living systems, and there might be technology involved, ironically, but it helps us see and visualize in new ways. But it might also be something like working with the Indigenous Knowledge Systems Lab. So close colleagues of ours, this is a lab led by Australian Aboriginal custodians of land who are out there doing land work constantly, but also are these bridge academics to Western knowledge. And this is what we have to do. Some people call it two-eyed seeing, combining Indigenous knowledge systems, Indigenous context and understanding with technical Western approaches. So day in, day out at Buckminster Fuller Institute, we're focused on innovation systems, not just one person or one company, building a whole new field if we have to. So what does it take to restore the health of a large ecosystem? Who was Buckminster Fuller? He was this amazing architect, visionary. He was almost the first futurist. And he was not just a futurist about small things like what will happen to education in 10 years. It was literally, what's the future of this planet? What are the preconditions for thriving on the planet? So there are rules about this. There's a whole beautiful theory of commenting that Elinor Ostrom codified some years ago and won a Nobel Prize for that work. So it's not a fringe concept, but it's a hard thing to articulate in a world that is used to sort of capitalism and certain ways to think about ownership. Biodiversity is the most important commons of all. This is the true abundance of planet Earth. 10 to 50 million species. We don't even know. The diversity of the fungal kingdom is astonishing. And by the way, I said kingdom, but really it's kindom. Trying to reclaim that word. It's all kin. So it's a kingdom. It's not a kingdom hierarchy. It's just kin. We're all kin. We're all related. All of life has co-evolved for about 3.8 billion years. And what I love is the planet Earth is only about 5 billion years old. Life got here really quickly. How did the moment the planet cooled down at all and these crazy asteroids stopped hitting the planet and the iron core like settled down, life appeared just like that. And it's been one shared story for 3.8 billion years. Life knows what it's doing. It's been through everything you can imagine, the complete composition of the atmosphere changing over and over again. Huge, comet events that darkened skies for years at a time. Huge amounts of species passed, gone forever. Others emerged. Like, life does this amazing thing. And it's beyond our comprehension. And all that we know is it is one connected commons that is our evolutionary home. It is what we share. It's the story that connects us to every species and connects us to all the living processes of the planet. Biodiversity is, yes, the living species, but it depends on the soil that's been co-created by those species. It's dependent on geology and oceans and the flow of water, and all of that becomes one connected system that some people call Gaia. Earth goddess, Pachamama, life infusing